Today, I'm going to check out the cheapest electric cordless snowblower that I could find. What's happening, Panda Nation? Peter Von Panda here. I have this Greenworks cordless electric snowblower, and I picked this up because I love the Toro products. I think they're the best. They have just a ton of power. They run forever. They are super well made, but I realize they're kind of a premium price product, and a lot of people might not have the same need for a snowblower like I do. You know, I have a pretty long driveway, but maybe you have kind of the standard driveway. Maybe you have the 30-foot by 20-foot driveway, and you don't need a lot of power. You don't need a huge amount of runtime, and you don't want to spend a lot of money. So this Greenworks here is a 40-volt lithium cordless snowblower, and it was about $250, $260. So I thought I'd pick it up and just see how good it is. So let's get this sucker unboxed, set up, and try it out. All right, so the first thing I want to tell you here is that the box is actually pretty small. So if you're getting this shipped to your house, it's really not that bad. It's kind of like 2 feet by 2 feet by 2 feet. It's just this little cube. And then inside the box, here's what we get. The snowblower, man, it is in there packaged pretty efficiently. So got some loose pieces here, kind of that chute. So I'm going to take out all the loose pieces. Looks like this is the charger. And then looks like down here, oh, heavier. So that's a battery. And then stuff is connected with wire ties. So you're going to want to make sure that you get some clippers to clip all that out. But I think probably the easiest thing to do here is to kind of break the box down and then just slide this out, because I don't want to lift this up. I'm not sure what's attached. Actually, yeah, see, this is not attached, but it is attached by the cord. So obviously I'm not going to put any pressure on that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of break down one of these walls like this, and might use a box cutter to kind of smash one of these walls down this way, and then I'll just roll this out, and then we'll get it set up. All right, so it's out of the box. So the first thing we have to do is actually assemble this handle. And what I want to show you is that there's two parts to it. So we have this part, which is actually the middle part. So this is going to go down here like this. And the other handle part with the foam around where you'll actually use it, and then kind of this engagement bar right here will go on top of that. So the first thing we want to do is put this bar on down here. And what that's going to require is us to unscrew these little screw knobs and pull this out. This is kind of 2 bolts in one that's going to hold this bar on. All right, now one thing I do want to point out is at the top of this bar, we have this little plastic tab. It has a little hole in it, and that is going to be for this guide rod that goes into the back of the snowblower right there to control the chute. So you want to make sure that this tab is pointing down. The guide rod is going to go underneath the support here. All right, so let's get everything tightened up. All right, those are on there, nice and tight. Let's get on to this upper bar. All right, the upper handle is gonna go on, and it's gonna go on pretty much the same way, but we have to remove these little knobs and the bolts right here on both sides, and then we can put this on. All right, at this point, it's starting to actually look like something, which is a good sign. All right, so now it's time to install this rod. You can see down here we have this little kind of crimped end, and there is actually a kind of key-shaped hole right down there. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to thread this through here underneath, and then run it all the way down here, and then put it in there, just turning it, and then pushing it all the way in. And what we should do is you kind of want to turn it, push it in. You're going to want to hold the snowblower in place until you hear it kind of engage in there. And it probably takes another like 6 inches once you get it in there. And once it's in, now if I turn this, what we are getting is that chute turning up there. So it's a little hard right here without the handle on there, but at least now I know it's engaged, okay? All right, so that is installed. All right, and now we're going to put this little chute on here. This is the handle so that you can disengage it to change the angle, but you can see we have little holes on the side there and little posts on either side. So basically what I'm going to do here is put this on the little hole, and you can see this little tab that's going to lock it in. So you want to make sure that that little tab gets in the opening there, and then kind of put this over both sides here and get it to clip in on both sides first. And my little tip here is that it may seem like it's on and pivoting, but you really got to make sure that that tab inside is pushed down, and then you push this hard to make sure that that tab pops out. You'll kind of feel it once that is connected. You can see that that little edge of the tab is on the outside now, so that'll hold it in. And now I can grab this up here and change the angle and it'll lock it in. So just grab that, squeeze it, and now I have the chute on there and I can adjust to the throw. All right, so on to the last piece. And that is putting this handle onto the end of this connecting rod here. So what you want to do is take out this large cotter pin. You want to go ahead and slide this over. And maybe you can see here, we have holes in the side there. So you want to line that up and then run the cotter pin back through there. And you can see then I've got this handle down here, which I can turn both ways to change the direction of the chute. So with that locked in now, I can go ahead and just twist this and it moves the chute left and right, which is pretty nice. And it's actually right up here by the handle. Last thing I want to do is remove the little cellophane that is holding the engagement bar to the handle here. And you can see when that comes down, now what I can do is pull that up and that should be the way we engage it. All right, so down here is where we have the battery compartment. You can see that I can flip that up, slide the battery right in there. This goes down, protects that from any snow getting in there. Up here, we also have a couple of lights. So it looks like we have 2 LED lights. They're kind of aimed right down at the snowblower. So, you know, it's kind of an interesting angle on them. Looks like we have a power button right here. So it looks like if we're standing up here, the instructions are hit the power button and then pull the bar back here. So it's kind of a two-handed operation, I think. So you'll probably fire up the motor and then pull this back to engage the auger, and then you can walk it. 2 plastic wheels down here, just plastic. You can see they're hollow right in the back there. So no air or anything like that. But they are also pretty hard. So they're not like a rubber material. It doesn't seem like, I mean, kind of rubbery, but like a really hard rubber. Then we have some metal shoes, feet on the end here. So that should protect that plastic as you are using this a long time. You can see here we have a plastic auger. You know, these should last a while. But if I were to compare this to the basic Toro cordless snowblower, they have a metal auger in there, which I really like. And you can see, obviously, single stage, it'll throw the snow right up there. So this is what it looks like. Greenworks definitely leans into that green, but a pretty nice, compact, pretty light. I definitely think this will be easy to maneuver around. Obviously, the wheel's freewheel there, so this is not self-propelled in any way. 40-volt lithium, so fairly powerful, but not the most powerful thing I've ever seen. But now what we have to do is we have to get the battery charged up. So I'm going to go ahead and get the charger and the battery, start to charge, and then we'll let the snow fall. All right, so here's the charger, 2-prong cord in there. It looks like it's about a 5 or 6 foot cable on there, so that's pretty nice. Obviously green, and then the battery will slide on the top, but here is the battery itself, kind of a large plastic housing, kind of a standard sized, you know, it's pretty much what you'd expect from battery. It looks like we have a little button on the top here, so we can get status indicator, again, empty, basically 4 lights, one representing 25% charge. You can see the little ejector button right there. But what I'm going to do now is just go ahead and slide this in here and let this start to charge up. And once we get fully charged, and once the snow comes down, we'll see if this thing actually can throw some snow, because I don't want to have to bust out the shovel. All right, it is very cold out here, 9 degrees below. Did a little shoveling just to see how deep the snow is, and basically, even though they said maybe up to 4 inches, I think it's only 3 right here. But it's very cold, so I think it's going to fly, be very powdery. But I've got this inexpensive snowblower out, and so let's go ahead and blow some snow and see if it's going to work for an average driveway. I think this is probably like 20 by 30 feet, so pretty typical driveway. So let's give it a try.
Listen up, just a good old boy, never meaning no harm. Beats all you never saw, been in trouble with the law since the day they was born. Straightening the curves, riding the hills. Someday the mountain might get them, but the law never will.
All right, just got done, and what you can see here is that snow is no match for this thing. In fact, what I did is went and snowblowed that, got to the sidewalk cleared, and then checked the battery, and it said 50% charge left. So I think for most home uses, for your standard driveway, that thing is going to be perfect. And even if the snow is really heavy, I mean, like I said, twice this, 6, 7, 8 inches, and the battery had half the capacity left. You could slow yourself down, do it a little slower, do it a little bit more accurately than me, and probably have just enough charge to do your standard size driveway. So if you want to pick up this inexpensive electric snowblower, I'll put a link to it in the description below. Peter Von Panda, out.
We can discover more and explore so much deeper.